The first time we drove Porsche's new 718 Boxster, we figured it was still a terrific roadster, but something had been lost in moving from a 6-cylinder naturally aspirated engine to a 4-cylinder turbo. But we figured it was probably still the best roadster you could buy. However, Lotus has just launched the Elise 250 Cup. Now this isn't going to be a conventional twin test, because these cars are quite different, and we're not going to do loads of challenges, but there was one I will do at the start to show you just how different these two cars are. Right, so the first and only challenge we're going to do is a hood off. I've got a tame racing driver stroke hood operator there. I am the hood operator here. I have a faithful assistant standing next to the camera there who is about to count down, and on 0 we are going to go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that is how it is that a Lotus Elise Cup 250 weighs 921 kilograms. The fact that you have to take the hood off yourself, and this is a fairly sparse, stripped out interior. Now the idea is that it is not only a road car, it is also quite a handy track car. So there's a carbon aero kit on the outside that's optional, but that helps take the weight down even further. These seats weigh 6 kilos less than the standard seats, the wheels weigh 1.5 kilos each less, and basically weight has come down and down and down and down, and power has gone up a little bit over your average Elise. This has got 243 brake from a 1.8 litre supercharged engine, and immediately what I can tell you is that it feels pretty firm. Elises don't always feel firm, they're always got exceptional body control, but it's a car that has been famous for the fact that it rides and skips over bumps and crests really easily. This has got a bit more jiggle to it, a little bit more firmness to it. It's not bad by any means. Gearbox, I think, gear shift is improved over even fairly recent Elises I've tried. The third, fourth plane particularly is really rigid. There's loads of feel through the steering. It does take on quite a lot of heft. It's a physical car to drive these days. I think that is partly a result of whatever geometry changes they've made to make it so fast around a circuit. It's supposed to be almost as fast as the latest Exige V6 around Lotus's own test track. And also the fact that it runs on very sticky Yokohama AO48 rubber. But it remains that lightness and responsiveness, that agility, everything that we've always known about the Elise for the last 21 years. It still has those intrinsic characteristics. When you look around, you've still got this unadjustable steering wheel, you sit very close to your passenger, and all the strength is in the sills, so it's difficult to get in and out with the hood on because of the height of the sills. But all of those things do make it a really, really peachy, really sweet car to drive. And so to the inside of the Porsche, where I can move my wheel as much as I like. And I get a plusher interior. There's lots of leather in places, there's some sat-nav, digital dials. It doesn't have the high sills of all the strength in those. Quite a lot of strength is elsewhere in the monocoque and also in this central transmission tunnel. It doesn't technically need a transmission tunnel, but it helps with the strength and everything. So you sit a larger distance away from your passenger. It is a more habitable interior, and all of that adds up to the fact that the Porsche weighs, get this, 1,355 kilos, which is not heavy in itself, but is approximately 430 kilos heavier than the Lotus, which is a phenomenal amount. It's almost half as much as the Lotus again. So what difference does it make? Well, immediately it feels slightly softer. I can firm up the dampers through 2 stages. Of course, adaptive dampers adds weight. I can make the exhaust a bit louder, adds a bit of weight, doesn't it, as well? And I've got assisted steering inevitably, because the limit, the cut-off of where you can get away with unassisted steering is maybe 1,200 kilos tops. So it's electrically assisted, electric roofed, electric parking braked, and it is a more rounded, you might argue more complete car, I suppose. But it is fundamentally a Porsche. So what's it like as a sports car? Although it's electrically assisted, it is a nice steering system. It doesn't have the feel of the Lotus's rack, of course. That's inevitable too. You get such tiny amounts of feedback in the Lotus, you just don't get in this. But it's a good steering system. It's a good gearbox. The engine is unmistakably a flat 4 turbo. Has that slightly Subaru-y woofle to it. And there's plenty of torque to get the most out of the chassis. So it's an enjoyable car to drive. Is it as enjoyable as the Lotus? No. On good roads like this, on glorious sunny days like this, The agility of the Lotus counts for more. The immediacy of the Lotus counts for more. So if you want the best car, buy the Porsche. If you want the best driver's car, buy the Lotus. It's that middling ground where the verdict could slip one way or the other. It's quite tough. On a day like today, I'm inclined to give it a nod to the Lotus. If this were February, I think I'd probably pick the Porsche every time.